الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولما جاءهم كتاب من عند الله مصدق لما معهم وكانوا من قبل يستفتحون على الذين كفروا فلما جاءهم ما عرفوا كفروا به فلعنة الله على الكافرين بئس ما اشتروا به أنفسهم أن يكفروا بما أنزل الله بغيا أن ينزل الله من فضله على من يشاء من عباده فباءوا بغضب على غضب وللكافرين عذاب مهين صدق الله العظيم. From ayat number 89 of Surat Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses the Bani Israel regarding this revelation, this Quran. There was a time where the Bani Israel, they were seeking victory against the kuffar. The kuffar used to come and challenge their aqidah, challenge their deen, challenge their sharia, their way of life. So the Bani Israel were always trying to find answers and ways to refute the kuffar, and to give answers to the kufr of the kuffar, to the disbelief of the disbelievers. And often a time when they didn't have an answer, they used to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give them answers. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in ayat number 89, وَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ كِتَابٌ مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ. And when there came to you, or whenever there came to them, came to the Bani Israel, كِتَابٌ مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ, a book from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Such a kitab, such a book, such a revelation, مُصَدِّقٌ لِمَا مَعَهُمْ, it was confirming the revelations that were with them. The Quran does not deny the Torah, does not deny the Injil, does not deny the Zabur, it does not deny any of the revelations of the past. We have already gone over the madhameen of the Quran, the ulum of the Quran, the main subject matters. And the sciences mentioned in the Quran, we went over a few of them. So the Bani Israel, when they were given this book, this Quran was sent. It was sent to all of humanity. But in the beginning it also addresses them as well, or it also addressed them as well. وَكَانُوا مِنْ قَبْلُ يَسْتَفْتِحُونَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. Before this Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that the Bani Israel, they used to seek victory over the kuffar. They were trying to find a way to give an answer to the kuffar. Along with that, they were seeking that they would be given such a revelation that would make them victorious on earth, that would give them the most perfect lifestyle, the perfect way of life, the perfect deen, the perfect religion. فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ, then when this Quran also came to them, عَرَفُوا, they recognized this Quran. It's not that they did not realize or they did not recognize the message of this Quran. عَرَفُوا, they recognized it. But after recognizing it, كَفَرُوا بِهِ, they rejected this Quran. And with that rejection, فَلَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ, So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that then the curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on the kuffar, on these type of kuffar. There are a few points within this ayah. We already went over the ulum of the Quran, some of the major ulum of the Quran that were covered by the subjects in the ulum of the previous scriptures. The Torah, it had ahkam, laws and rules and regulations. In the Quran also we have ilmul ahkam, those ayat that deal with ahkam, the commandments and prohibitions, the laws, day-to-day life, awamir and nawahi. We have to understand that in the Quran there are 5 major ulum. You open any ayat of the Quran, you'll find one of these 5 ulum, one of these 5 major subjects being discussed. The first one being ilmul ahkam, the laws and regulations, and the rules. We call them awamir and nawahi, commandments and prohibitions. The second one, ilm tadhkir bi ala illah. You'll find certain verses in the Quran or a good portion of the Quran discussing the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us of His favors. That He is the being who has created the heavens and the earth. He sends down water from the sky. He is the being who has subjected to you the winds. He has subjected to you the ships, the massive ships. He has subjected to you the oceans. He has subjected to you this earth. Favor after favor, the an'amat and the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're also called ala. So ilm tadhkir bi ala illah, you find a subject in the Quran that deals with the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to ahkam, the Torah that was revealed to Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, it had ahkam, laws and regulations. When it comes to favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, including the asma and sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ilm tadhkir bi ala illa, the numerous favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is also the main subject matter of the Zabur that was revealed to Sayyidina Dawood alayhi salam. Very, very beautiful ayat, beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala were mentioned in the Zabur. A comprehension of those names and more beautiful names, more comprehensive names have been mentioned in the Quran and also in the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There are many, many names in the Quran and Sunnah, roughly around 152 names or 153 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Out of those names, 99 have been selected as the Asma'ul Husna, in which there are a few ahadith in the Sahih Sitta that mention those 99 names. The Asma'ul Husna are the most beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the list have also been given those names. There are many names in the Quran that are not in that list because the meaning of those names have been covered or under the subject of another name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you'll find the Asma'ul Husna to be the most comprehensive names. There'll be names in the Quran that are not amongst the Asma'ul Husna, the 99 names. Because those names are just explaining or one part of an explanation of a more comprehensive name. Just to give you an example, the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Arhamur Rahimeen, comes in the Quran 4 times. Arhamur Rahimeen, that being who's the most merciful of those who show mercy. Musa alayhi salam, he made dua with it. Rabbi ghfirli wa li akhi wa adkhilna fi rahmatik wa anta arhamur rahimin. It is a name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala generally you find in ad'iyah and in dua. So Musa alayhi salam mentioned it. Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salam, he mentioned it. فَاللَّهُ خَيْرٌ حَافِظًا وَهُوَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. Then Yusuf alayhi salam, he also took this name. In Surah Yusuf it comes. Yusuf alayhi salam, he mentioned قَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْنَا إِنَّهُ مَن يَتَّقِ وَيَصْبِرْ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, when he exposed or he told his brothers that he is Yusuf, and his brothers, they were scared that he may take revenge now. So he told his brothers, لا تثريب عليكم اليوم يغفر الله لكم وهو أرحم الراحمين. There's no blame on you today. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you. And He is Arhamur Rahimin. Arhamur Rahimin, the most merciful of those who show mercy. And again, the dua of Ayyub alayhi salam when he was sick. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah Al-Anbiya, وَأَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. Ayyub alayhi salam, he made this dua. This is dua for those who are sick and have such sicknesses that there is no cure for that sickness. So they can also make this dua. This is one of the effects of this name. The beautiful effect that this name has. Ayyub alayhi salam, he made dua, أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ. I've been touched by distress and hardship. وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. And oh Allah, you are the most merciful of those who show mercy. So 4 times in the Quran it comes. But if you open the list of the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will not find this name there. Why? Because this name, in essence, if you go into the tafseer of this name, this is actually explaining the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ar-Rahman. It is one of the many meanings. There are few names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that are in essence derivatives of the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ar-Rahman. One of them is Arhamur Rahimin. Another one, Al-Hannan, Al-Mannan. These also come in the Quran. لَقَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْنَا. And other places in the Quran, وَحَنَانًا مِن لَدُنَّا وَزَكَاةً. So you find names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that are there that are explaining the name Ar-Rahman. So these sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they were mentioned in the Zabur. And that's a whole subject in itself. The names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have a very, very profound impact in the lives of us believers. And we've even been told, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has 99 names, 100 minus 1, emphasizing the number 99. Man ahsaha dakhal al-jannah. Whosoever, ahsaha has quite a unique meaning. Whosoever comprehends them, whosoever memorizes them, whosoever uses them, whosoever makes dua with them, ahsaha has all these meanings. Dakhal al-jannah, so that person, he'll enter into Jannah. So there are the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But these are also mentioned in the Zabur, a few of them. When you open the Quran, you find many, many, many more beautiful names. And in a very, very beautiful format, the explanation of these names. So, this was the Zabur. This falls under the subject of the ala, the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the next subject, the third, ulum of the Quran, ilm tadhkir bi ayyamillah. And there are ayat and verses in the Quran, sometimes whole surahs in the Quran that deal with the nations of the past. And more specifically, the Anbiya alayhim as-salam and the prophets that were sent to the nations of the past. Qawmi Nuh, Qawmi Hud, Qawmi Thamud. Then you have the Qawmi Madian, you have Fir'aun, and so many other aqwam and nations that came in the past. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the numerous Anbiya alayhim as-salam they were sent to all of these various nations. So this was also the subject matter of the Injil that was revealed to Isa alayhi salam, that it had the stories of the nations of the past. So this is the third ulum of the Quran. The fourth ulum of the Quran, which is actually in this ayah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that the Bani Israel, they were seeking a way to be able to dispute and debate with the kuffar or disbelievers, and to prove the belief of the kuffar as something wrong. For that, a subject is needed, a ilm is needed, specific verses are needed. So the Quran also has specific ayat in the Quran that deal with what is called ilmul mujadala. It is called ilmul mujadala, also known as ilmul mukhasama. You'll find ayat in the Quran that deal with the beautiful subject of the defense of the aqaid of Islam, proving that there's only one Allah. There cannot be more than that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in various places in the Quran, using very, very logical arguments, not some random statements. Not like what the Christians say, 3 in 1 and 1 in 3, and the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. And if you take the example of an egg, and then they try to explain that in an egg there's 3, but it's actually 1. Brother, there's only one chicken that comes from an egg. The shell and the inside. At the end of the day, you get one chicken. And you try to tell them that, oh, they say, Jesus died on the cross. You say, but you say he's God, how is he going to die? No, God the Son died. God the Father was still there. Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from such jahala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us on hidayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a very clear answer to this. مَا اتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ مِنْ وَلَدٍ وَمَا كَانَ مَعَهُ مِنْ إِلَهٍ إِذًا لَذَهَبَ كُلُّ إِلَهٍ بِمَا خَلَقَ وَلَعَلَى بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He can never take a son. Just be clear, everything is His creation. And there can never be any other God with Allah. Because if there was, so every God would take his own creation, would claim his own creation. So when every God claims his own creation or her own creation, what do you think will happen next? So there'll be war, there'll be battle. وَلَعَلَى بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. So they'll turn on one another. There'll be nothing but chaos in the universe. So subhanallah amma yasifun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beyond what they ascribe to Him. In another ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the same subject very, very clear. لَوْ كَانَ فِيهِمَا آلِهَةٌ إِلَّا اللَّهُ لَفَسَدَتَا. If there had been any other God with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there would be nothing but chaos. So just the fact that we see such perfect order in the universe, such perfect order in the world, so this is clear proof there's only one Allah. More than that, there'll be nothing. Just like in this world, we have governments. You have one government can govern a country. More than that, there's nothing but chaos. You have rebels, and we understand how much chaos happens. When there's internal fighting, espionage, when you have these various rebel groups fighting one another, what happens? Nothing but chaos. There's no life. You cannot even call it a country. It loses its sovereignty. You even take this human body. Only one soul can exist in the human body. You take more than that, there's nothing but disturbance. The person cannot live a life. You have all of these psychological disorders people have, a multiple personality disorder and others. And people, it becomes difficult for them to live a life. We understand there's a whole subject about that in the field of psychiatry. Sometimes people end up losing their own senses. But this is common sense that only one soul, one ruh can fit in a body. You put two souls there, what do you think will happen? They'll destroy the body first. Because each one will be trying to fight for control. So from the lowest level, the human body, you go all the way to the top. Only one body can be of governing. More than that, nothing but chaos. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned this very, very clearly. The other aqaid of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the aqeedah of the akhirah, very, very clear. That there is a time of hisab and kitab. You're not free to do what you want. Fear Allah. Time is coming, you have to stand in front of Him. And very clear evidence, with logical proof is given, that this world is not enough to reward those who are righteous. And this world is not enough to punish those who are real zalim. The kind of punishment they deserve is much more than what this world can give. The kind of rewards that should be given to the righteous is much more than what this world can give. This world is only temporary. So very, very clear and logical evidence. Not some random thoughts or theories are given, but actual evidence with practical and proper arguments given to the kuffar and to the disbelievers. This is what the Bani Israel were seeking. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given these ayat in the Quran under the subject or the topic of ilmul mujadala or mukhasama, where there's a debate and argument given with the kuffar. Many of the aqaid and the beliefs of the kuffar are mentioned in great detail, and then argument and then answers are given. Logical proof is given how they're wrong, why they're wrong. Many of their superstitions were mentioned. They used to believe in various kinds of superstitions. Even the Quraysh, they used to have a superstition that when you come from Hajj, they used to say when you go for Hajj, when you come back from Hajj, don't go from the front door, go from the back door. They say it's bad luck, Allahu Akbar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cleared this. What are you doing? They used to have other superstitions. The aspect of adopted son. They used to have a whole subject about this. Many of their evil qualities of even the Quraysh have been cleared up in the Quran. Many of the false beliefs and the false ideas and ideologies, even those relating to the psychological aspect of human life, they've been addressed in the Quran. It's not something just of that time, even of this time and age. At the time of the Quraysh, used to be one of the most terrible things that could happen to someone psychologically was if they were given the news of a daughter, that they had a daughter. They used to bury the girl alive. Go to some places in the world today, and unfortunately even some Muslim countries. They have the same thought that if they're given a daughter, this is like disgrace or something. La ilaha illallah. We're coming into the same. All of these ideas have been cleared up in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it so clear, addressing the psychology of the kuffar, that you consider this a disgrace, this favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Quraysh, the kuffar, they were so strange. Even the kuffar of today, they were so strange. That the kuffar used to say that, na'udhu billah, the angels, they were the daughters of Allah. They were like a pure creation, but they were women, they were female. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the very thing you're ascribing to Allah, when you're given the news of that, you become disgraced or you become ashamed. You're ashamed of what you're ascribing to Allah. What strange people you are. First of all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't have children, just clear. But just giving them what strange psychology you have, what strange belief you have. You consider this a disgrace. So these things have been cleared with very, very logical evidence. Very clear proof. Known as ilm al-mujadala or mukhasama. The Bani Israel, they wanted access to this kind of arguments. Because it's not in their kitab, it's not in their revelation. They didn't have this kind of beautiful arguments that the Quran has. Unfortunately, we don't have time to study our own Quran. How much we study our Quran. Today we go on, many of these people, they go in the media, they're trying to defend Islam. And many things they're saying, they don't even know what they're talking about. They're trying to defend Islam in strange ways. At least study the ayat of the Quran, study your deen before you go and you make a statement in the public, and then you bring disgrace to yourself and you put everyone else in trouble. They bring up such topics that even the kuffar don't know about. And they try to spread them, and they try to give some kind of strange defense because the person wants to be famous, Today everything is about how many likes you can have, how many followers you can have, how much respect in the eyes of the people you can have. So they try to bring up those arguments that were left for the ulama. They've already given an answer to it. And then they try to give logical arguments. Or they try to twist their own ideas into it. Without really studying the deen of Allah. They bring about strange arguments. And then they give the kuffar fuel. So the kuffar, when the kuffar asks them a question, now the person himself puts himself in a cage. Why are you talking about things that are not in your capacity that you yourself don't understand? You can't even explain it, but you want fame for yourself. There was just to give you an example. This is some time back. So if you want fame for yourself, we have a saying, if you want fame for yourself, cause a commotion in the masjid, This is there's a saying back where we come from. Of course, the saying is much more severe than how I'm wording it. And it caused a commotion. There was a man who came to the masjid, and in front of all of the ulama, the muftis, he came out and he said that I am telling you that eating dog meat is halal. And if anyone can show me where in the Quran and where in the Sunnah it says it is haram, then come and challenge me. What kind of strange argument? Just to get fame for himself. So the ulama were looking at it, like, what kind of strange person are you, So one of the ulama stood up, he said, he said, I can answer you. The man said, no, not like this. You have to bring everyone, then we have a debate, So they brought a big debate. People were spreading, how news spreads, especially when it's something like this, so strange. We're ready to spread fitna, it spreads so fast. When you speak haqq, it gets suppressed. So this person became famous in the eyes of the people. And when they came to the debate hall, so the mufti, the alim of that time, he stood up. He said, listen, this ayat of the Quran says, so the man said, wait, stop. The man said, listen, I know that it is in Quran, I know that it is in Sunnah, but I wanted my name to be known by the people also. I absolutely accept it is haram. I wanted the people to know my name, So this is our case. The man knew that, even though he didn't have knowledge of the Quran, he knew that there was an answer to it. But he just wanted fame. Today, this is what we do. We go out and we bring up arguments amongst the kuffar about our deen. And then we don't have an answer when they ask us. People come out in front of everyone and start talking about women's rights. And then they start trying to prove women's rights with their own logic that the Quran says this and the Sunnah says this and this is what we should be giving women. And then the kuffar stand up and they ask this person that if you're talking about women's rights, then tell us about the marriage of Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu anha. to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She was married at such a young age. Now the person doesn't have an answer and he's stuck. And now Shaitan starts putting this in the mind of all the Muslims, and all these doubts are coming. Oh, what is this? And then we don't have an answer. Why? Because we don't want to study, we don't want to go to the ulama, we don't want to try and learn. And the hadith is very clear. It's in Bukhari. Sahih hadith. It's not some. Another person tries to twist his own ideas into it, bring up his own answers. Now groups start, people coming up with their own answers. Why did you bring this up in the first place? Why you put yourself in a situation like that when you don't have the answer? And when the ulama give an answer, nobody wants to use that answer because now everybody wants to be famous. So if they use the answer of a sheikh or a alim, so now they have to give credit to that sheikh. Right? So they want to have their own. Allahu Akbar. And now we start adding our own ideas. Be very, very clear about our deen. There's nothing that is hidden in our deen. First of all, the word nikah. It comes from the amal between husband and wife to have children. This is what it means. Right? To have children. The minimum age for a girl to have children is when their cycles start. And the minimum, go ask the medical science, they'll tell you the minimum age is around 9 or 10. So Islam is given a very clear answer. This is what is a nikah. It's not some abstract idea or something so difficult to understand. Islam is given the answer. And now people start putting their own math into it. Oh, she must have been older than that, or she must have been. And now the age, they start bringing up some timeline, their own timeline, trying to prove that she was 17 or 18. Brother, 17 or 18 is in America. Even in America, go to Texas. The law said that a 13-year-old girl can get married. Every government has their own system for what age is the minimum age of marriage. Islam has given the age, not in age. It has given when biologically a woman can have a child. Thus, the minimum age for that is based on diet and climate. And this is medical science. I'm not a doctor. You can go talk to the doctor. They'll give you much more detail about this. I'm just sharing with you. Diet, any diet that is rich in iron, which in Medina they used to eat so many dates, ya subhanallah. And climate. The hotter the climate, the faster the girls reach this age to be able to have children. And it's not something of that time, even today. You have 10-year-old girls that have children. It's not some abstract thing that is some strange thing. So Islam cleared it up. Said, okay, no problem. And this has never been a problem in 14 centuries because the ulama always gave this answer. Very clear answer, no debate, no argument. And this is the right of women. In this society, they speak about their champions of women. And when the woman is not 18-year-old, they don't even accept that she can get married, But they can have like 100 boyfriends. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. They can destroy themselves like this. But when you speak about such a pure thing, about nikah or marriage, so this is some abstract idea, and they start challenging or going against the Muslims. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given these answers. These things are not some, this is what the Bani Israel, they wanted. They wanted to have an answer for many of these. Even in their scriptures, Maryam alayhi salam, the mother of Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, she gave birth to Isa alayhi salam. How old was she? According to their scriptures, how old was she? She was 12 years old. Go read their books. I'm not talking about the Quran. The Quran doesn't give age. Okay? The Quran just mentions that she was much more mature for her age. This is all it speaks about. That she was young even in their books. No man ever touched her. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this system so that we may be able to understand. It's not some abstract idea. But then you have people who don't know what they're talking about, who want fame for themselves, and then they come out and they make a statement and then they get themselves into cage. And then they cause a problem for all the Muslims. And rather than going to the ulama to get an answer, now everybody goes to Sheikh Google and Mufti Yahoo and starts pulling out their own answers. And now you have threads and you have all these discussions and people putting in their own sugar and spice and messing everything up. There's nothing hidden in the deen. It's very clear. This is the beauty of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when the Bani Israel were presented this Quran, what did they do? They denied it. Even though it gave them every single answer that they could ever want for defending their deen, and every single argument that they could ever have for presenting to the kuffar to stop the kuffar. This is ilm al-mujadala. This is the fourth subject that is discussed in the ayat of the Quran. Again, I went very far. I just wanted to clarify. Someone asked me this question today, so I just wanted to clarify to everyone. That don't get into these strange debates and arguments, start adding your own timeline to the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Things are clear. And the fifth ilm of the Quran, amongst the ulum of the Quran, is called ilm tadhkir bil maut wa bima ba'd al maut. There are ayat in the Quran that speak about death and the many stages after death. It speaks about Maidan of Hashr. It speaks about Jannah, it speaks about Jahannam. All of the ayat that are related to the Akhirah, you find in the Quran in very, very great detail and very, very beautiful fashion. And all of these are done in the most beautiful way. With great hikmah, you find the rabat and connection of these various subjects going between them. So when this Quran came and it was revealed, مُصَدِّقٌ لِمَا مَعَهُمْ, it was even confirming whatever they had with them. And if these same Bani Israel were seeking something like the Quran, trying to find something like the Quran, so they could have a defense for their own deen, when this Quran came to them, first thing, عَرَفُوا, they recognized the Quran. Then they rejected it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then mentioned the reasons for their rejection. Inshallah, that will be from tomorrow. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and give all of us the tawfiq to practice His deen. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. Wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم اللهم نور قلوبنا بالقرآن وزين أخلاقنا بالقرآن ونجنا من النار بالقرآن وادخلنا في الجنة بالقرآن اللهم اجعل القرآن لنا في الدنيا قرينا وفي القبر مونسا وعلى الصراط نورا وفي الجنة رفيقا ومن النار سترا وحجابا ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.